So it's likely that you, maybe somebody you know, recently moved here, and you know how difficult it can be to find an apartment, a condo, a house to rent. That's something that people tend to talk about when they move to the Tampa Bay area. So 10 News reporter Jenny Dean discovered a new website that's taking advantage of the competition. This is letting you bid on rent. So walk us through this thing, Jenny. How's it work?
Well, it's called Rentberry, and this started in some major cities about 6 months ago. It has finally hit our area. And once you're on the website, you search for the city where you want to rent. You'll find a property, and then there's a suggested monthly rent. Now you can bid, though, on what you think you should be paying. Realtor Mike Rivera has been a property manager in this area for 17 years. He says this site can be a good thing, especially in areas where rentals are limited, like South Tampa.
And it's a feast or famine kind of a thing. So it may allow someone to go in there, find a property, and actually bid a little bit more for it in order to get a property like that.
Plus, it's the eBay for apartment shopping, allowing you to set your own price.
It is changing how you lease. All new tonight, a different way to find an apartment. It's essentially like eBay, but it's for renters. It is called Rentberry. The site allows you to bid on rents and security deposits. It can benefit renters and landlords. In hot markets, landlords get bids for more than asking price. But in slower markets, renters can score a deal. Rentberry is available in more than 1,000 cities, including right here in Phoenix.
Love it.
A unique and controversial way to rent apartments has just gotten a big boost in Capital.
7 on your side's Michael Finney takes a look at what Rentberry might mean to the heart of the rental market here.
Well, rents are so cheap here in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's a bargain. They're not cheap, and that's why this is going to work. You don't have to be a renter to know how expensive it is to rent an apartment in the Bay Area, to even get an apartment that you can overpay for. Alex Levinsky wants to change the way tenants find rentals. In the tech world, it's known as being a disruptor.
People can, based on the supply and demand, they can submit customizable offers.
Tenants using Rentberry bid for the apartments they want. Some have likened that to eBay. The apartments on Rentberry don't always go to the highest bidder. They may go to the tenant who can best prove he or she is both a good credit risk and a good tenant. Rentberry is in 3,600 cities in the U.S. and has more than 100,000 users. It just received $2.8 million in funding, more than tripling its capital raised.
We provide flexibility and we provide transparency.
Now, Mike, how does this thing work?
Well, Liz, it's like an eBay auction, if you know how that works. And we are in the Mission, which is epicenter of what some are calling the worst housing crisis in this area since the Great Depression. On the other hand, you have middle-class families that are buying real estate, and they want to make a good living. What's the average two-bedroom in San Francisco look like?
So then when you have company,
Nice.
you have room.
It's probably much nicer than the average place, but it's close to the average rent. 2 bedrooms now going for about $4,800 a month. Landlord Gail Sabin could charge a bit more for this Glen Park beauty, and she'd probably get it easily.
And just like with buying in the city, people offer more.
But now it's a blind bid. You don't know what other people are bidding. The website Rentberry wants to change that by making it all public. On Alex Lubinsky's site Rentberry, you bid and see other bids too. They only charge when someone rents a place. They charge the renter $25. That's it, no other fees.
I think the biggest help it would be to a landlord is to hand off something to a third party of things that they don't want to do themselves.
Potentially could also make some things maybe more affordable if people are bidding low.
In San Francisco, Mike Sugarman, KPIX.
Well, here in New York, even if you can afford the sky-high prices, finding an available apartment can be quite a nightmare. Well, now a new app claims to be taking a lot of the stress out of home hunting, allowing renters to bid on pads that they like the look of, a bit like you would on eBay.
The average price for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is more than $3,100 a month. In San Francisco, rents are about the same. The two are among the world's priciest real estate markets. Demand is high, and inventory of available apartments is low. A new service has just emerged that could change the way tenants interact with landlords. It's called Rentberry.
The company says it has signed up thousands of users, both landlords and tenants, since launching earlier in May.
Bidding for your apartment, love it or shove it. America is becoming a nation of renters. More than half of the 100 largest cities were a majority renter as of 2015. It was less than a third of that in 2009. Nearly 3 in 4 millennials rent rather than own. If you think the rent is too high, there are startups that want you to prove it by forcing you to bid for a place to live. San Francisco-based Rentberry allows tenants to bid on the rent, security deposit, and other negotiables. These auctions represent a way to profit from tenants offering more than the posted rent in hot markets and landlords trying to fill vacancies in cooler ones. We buy homes through competitive bidding, so why not rentals? Home buying is often done with a blind bidding process, but Rentberry's process is different. We can see what competitors are offering. Rentberry plans eventually to charge every month 25% of the difference between the posted and negotiated rent. Whoever got the better deal, landlord or tenant, pays the fee. It currently charges a one-time $25 fee for every completed rental transaction. So when it comes to the bidding war, I say love it. I'm Travis Brown. We'll see you next minute.
And we're live with the CEO of a San Francisco company auctioning off rental properties to the highest bidder.
I keep reading up on this online bidding company.
On the apartments.
Rentberry, is that what it's called? Rentberry. So the CEO of Rentberry is coming in. We're going to talk to the CEO. All right, coming up next right here on Mornings on 2 to the 9, another talker bidding on places to rent. Up next, we talk live to the CEO of a San Francisco-based company putting a new spin on the rental market. Welcome back. Earlier this week, we told you about a new real estate website that has renters bidding on places to live. San Francisco-based Rentberry has landlords list houses and apartments. Then would-be renters submit what they would pay for a security deposit and monthly rent. Rentberry tells bidders how many other people want the same place and how much the highest bid is so far.
5,000 cities across the United States. Everyone loves us. Everyone uses us. The point is that in other markets, which is not as hot as Manhattan or San Francisco, it works other way around. So tenants can actually go in and say, hey, this property is on the market for 2 weeks. I know this. Nobody else is applying for this property, so I'll ask for discount. And people would ask for discount in rental price or maybe security deposit. So it's a win-win because landlord...
Because I'm so busy, I just want to fill that spot.
Exactly.
So I'll take your 1,800 instead of this magic 2,000 that's not happening.
And for the landlord, it's a win-win because landlord minimizes vacancy rate.
Live from Studio 2A in Pix Plaza, this is the Pix 11 News at 5 with Tamsin Fidel and John Muller.
Ask anyone, finding affordable rent in a city like New York has become nearly impossible. The desperate have opted to live in shoeboxes and closets for a pretty penny, and even a Lower East Side bathroom that went up on Craigslist. In an effort to put some power back into the hands of would-be tenants, Rentberry allows users to name their own price for rent in an eBay-styled auction.
We position ourselves as the transparent application process.
Transparency is the key with the service, according to CEO Alex Lubinsky, who says Rentberry aims to save renters time and money during the initial apartment hunt.
We also do background checks, credit reports. We do allow to sign electronically rental agreements through the platform. And we essentially offer all of this for free.
In cities with high demand, the service cuts out the middleman.
You have to always apply for 10 apartments, and you're always paying $45 fees, and it's a very long, extensive process. Why should I pay fees, for example, for apartments I'm not renting?
First introduced in San Francisco, Rentberry uses the tenant's profile and credit score, as well as their actual bid, to help the landlord determine if they want to take the applicant on as a tenant. Money isn't always the driving force.
You don't need to go and jump right away and submit something higher. Maybe you can submit exactly the same offer at ask because your credit history and your credit report is just much better.